What's going on, football fam? Oh man, stop whatever you're doing because this is not a drill. We've got absolute blockbuster breaking news shaking the NFL to its core, and you heard it here first. The biggest trade of the offseason, heck, maybe the biggest trade in recent memory just dropped, and it's going to flip the entire league on its head. Get ready for this. Jalen Ramsey, yes, the Jalen Ramsey, elite cornerback of the Miami Dolphins, is now officially a member of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm talking star corner, Super Bowl champ, lockdown defender, one of the top 5 defensive backs in the game for the last 5+ years. He's heading to the star in a deal that's not just massive, it's historic. We are talking a jaw-dropping, mind-blowing, headline-dominating $180 million trade deal. Let that number sink in. This is the kind of move that redefines careers, reshapes franchises, and completely alters the power dynamic across the NFL. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, and let's unpack everything you need to know about this absolute game-changer of a transaction, because trust me, this goes deeper than just a name change on a jersey. Now, for those of you who've maybe been out of the loop, maybe you blinked and missed it, let me paint the picture real quick. Jalen Ramsey, one of the most dominant and physically gifted corners in the NFL, has been anchoring the Miami Dolphins secondary since arriving from the Rams. He brought that edge, that fire, that championship mentality to South Florida. And just when we thought the Dolphins were building a Super Bowl caliber defense with him, they've flipped the script entirely. Miami has reportedly traded Ramsey to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a combination of draft picks, future assets, and cap flexibility. And not only that, but Dallas is giving Ramsey a mega extension worth up to $180 million over the life of the deal, making this one of the richest contracts ever given to a defensive back in league history. This isn't just a splash. This is a tidal wave. We're talking record-breaking territory. And honestly, it signals one thing loud and clear: the Cowboys are all in. After years of playoff letdowns, the Jones family is done playing games. They want rings, they want legacy, and they're building a defense that can lock down any offense in the league. Now let's dive into the implications of this, because the ripple effects are massive. First off, Dallas instantly becomes a terrifying team to go up against defensively. I mean, they already had one of the nastiest pass rushes in the NFL, with Micah Parsons coming off the edge like a heat-seeking missile. Now, you add Jalen Ramsey into that secondary, opposite Trayvon Diggs? That's just unfair. Quarterbacks are going to have nightmares prepping for this defense. You're essentially forcing QBs to make impossible choices: throw at a ball hawk like Diggs and risk an interception, or test Ramsey and get locked down, or, worse, end up on a highlight reel for the wrong reasons. This is a no-fly zone with elite talent on both sides of the field. Ramsey's physicality, football IQ, leadership, and swagger bring a new energy to Dallas, something they've been desperately lacking when the lights get brightest in January. And let's not forget, Ramsey isn't just a top-tier coverage guy, he's a tone setter. He brings intensity, he trash talks with confidence, and he steps up in big moments. That mentality? That's exactly what the Cowboys need to break through the NFC logjam and make a serious run for the Lombardi. From a schematic standpoint, this gives Dan Quinn, assuming he sticks around, a ridiculous amount of flexibility. Ramsey can play man, zone, shadow receivers, blitz, support the run, you name it. He's more than just a corner, he's a defensive weapon. You can now design coverages that completely smother top receivers, confuse quarterbacks, and disrupt timing from the first snap. That gives Dallas a strategic advantage, especially in an NFC that's stacked with talent like the 49ers, Eagles, and even emerging teams like the Lions. We're entering a new era of Dallas defense, one that could realistically carry this team to its first NFC championship game and maybe Super Bowl since the 90s. And if you're a Cowboys fan right now, you should be fired up. The front office is putting its money where its mouth is. They've heard the criticisms, they've seen the memes, and they've decided enough is enough. This is a win-now move if I've ever seen one. But let's not forget the other side of the coin here. What does this mean for the Miami Dolphins? Trading away a cornerstone player like Ramsey isn't something you do lightly. This signals that the Dolphins are maybe shifting directions or at least making some major cap and roster decisions ahead of a new chapter. They've been spending aggressively the last couple seasons, building a roster around Tua, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, but now they may be resetting a bit defensively. Offloading Ramsey's contract opens up serious cap space, which they could use to pursue younger talent, patch up depth on the D-line, or make another run at a big free agent name elsewhere. They've also got the draft capital now, which could allow them to move up in the draft or stockpile players to stay competitive in a tough AFC East. It's worth noting that the AFC is a gauntlet right now. You've got the Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Ravens, and now the Texans rising fast. Maybe Miami felt they needed to take a step back and reevaluate before going all in again. Now, one of the biggest talking points on social media right now, and I've been glued to my phone, is the price tag. That $180 million figure is staggering. It's the kind of money we typically see going to elite quarterbacks or offensive stars, not corners. So, of course, people are asking, is Jalen Ramsey worth it? And to that I say yes, absolutely. You don't pay for just skill, you pay for impact. Ramsey's presence transforms a defense. He changes the way offenses call plays. He elevates everyone around him, and he brings championship experience to a team that desperately needs it. Also, contracts like this always look massive in the moment, but a few years down the line, as the cap goes up and the market resets, it won't seem nearly as wild. Plus, Dallas knows this is their window. Dak Prescott isn't getting younger. CeeDee Lamb is in his prime. The offensive line is still solid. Micah Parsons is under contract. You strike while the iron's hot, and that's exactly what they've done here. Let's also talk about the locker room dynamic. Ramsey is a vocal leader, no question. He's passionate, outspoken, and sometimes even polarizing. But when that energy is harnessed right, it becomes a driving force. Dallas has had locker room leadership issues in the past, especially in crunch time when things get tough. Ramsey's playoff and Super Bowl experience can inject that veteran savvy into a team full of hungry, young playmakers. Imagine Ramsey mentoring guys like Diggs, Darren Bland, or the up-and-coming safeties on the roster. The trickle-down effect of this trade is going to be felt in every defensive meeting room, in practice, on the sidelines, and especially in the postseason. And don't think for a second this move won't have the rest of the league on high alert. You don't drop a $180 million nuke on the transaction wire and not cause ripple effects. You better believe the Eagles, Niners, and Lions are already back in their war rooms figuring out how to adjust their offensive schemes. Quarterbacks across the league are now checking their schedules to see when they play Dallas and circling that date with a gulp. Ramsey's the kind of player that alters game plans. You can't just throw to his side. You have to scheme around him. And with him wearing that silver and blue now, at Stadium just got a whole lot scarier for visiting offenses. So where does this leave us? We're standing at the start of what could be a new chapter in NFL history. If the Cowboys can capitalize on this momentum, if they can harness the talent, chemistry, and intensity this roster now possesses, they might finally shatter the decades-long drought and bring a title back to Dallas. But of course, we've seen big trades before. We've seen super teams built. It doesn't always translate into trophies. The pressure is officially on. Ramsey's not here for fun, he's here to win. And the Cowboys? They better deliver. Because when you make a move this bold, you're not just making headlines. You're making a statement. A statement that echoes through every training camp, every press conference, and every Sunday from here until February. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think about this trade? Was it the right move for Dallas? Did the Dolphins make a mistake, or are they playing the long game? Is $180 million too much, or is Ramsey worth every penny? Drop your takes in the comments, because this one's going to have fans fired up all off-season. And if you're hyped, if you want more analysis, insider scoops, and hot takes as this story develops, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and smash that notification bell because we've got so much more coming your way. This is just the beginning. The NFL never sleeps, and neither do we. Until next time, I'm your host signing off. Stay loud, stay proud, and remember, in the NFL, expect the unexpected.